What is up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to the second episode of TheWhatCast, where today's theme will be social media. We'll be looking at various areas such as pros, cons, its effect on mental health of young people, the way it is marketed, and much more. For the sponsor of this video, we have Kingman.net, where you can get the latest games, pre-orders, older titles, Windows 10 keys, and software at very cheap prices. Our affiliate link is in the description if you want to check it out, where you'll be supporting the channel and help us create more content. Well, so first off, guys, I think what we need. Oh, yeah, hold on. First, today we have Frank, Mikey, Liam, and moi. But do you just want to say hello?
Hello, what is my picture?
Liam sent it.
Oh, you beautiful people.
I'm sure I don't look like that in real life.
Yeah, Frank is a wolf. Changed my mind. So, well, for
Oh,
first
because
off, let's talk about what, our personal definitions of social media are. Now, I had a look earlier at Wikipedia. I was looking up the definition for it, and it says social media are interactive Web 2.0 internet based applications with user generated texts, such as posts, comments, digital photos or video, and data generated through all online interactions. And for anyone that doesn't know what Web 2.0 is, they are participative websites, which basically just means like stuff that the users put up, user generated content. Uh, we,
Alright.
um,
Got
well,
a-
well, Frank, I don't know if you know this. You see on the Discord there's our names, how they're in order. That's how we start off like questions like that. So, like Liam, what would your personal definition of social media be?
I think I agree with that so far.
Yeah, same. I mean, like that is the definition, but like you could like argue that yeah, you could argue
Yeah, they
against
vary.
it, like in certain
Mhm.
ways. Like for example, like I don't know, like technically it is a social media platform, but like at the same time,
Mm.
like you can look at it as not a social media platform because think about it, like would you consider film
Hard to
trailers
define.
social media? Like
I think if you define it by the definition that you gave, Giovanni, though, YouTube is a social media from
yeah, I
that
know by
aspect.
that
Hmm.
definition, yes, but in certain ways it's not, if you know what I mean. Like when you
How so?
It's
generally think
less.
of social media, you think of
Mm.
things like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, where like people
Of
can like
course.
upload pictures of themselves, comment, and on people's stuff. Like I mean, you can do the same on YouTube, but it's like not in the same way. You get
I
me?
think I think the culture is a bit different in that everyone doesn't create content. I feel like
Yeah,
most people would have an Instagram account or a Facebook account, but to take that step to a YouTube account is a big one, I think.
yeah.
To
Like
actually
There's
post content yourself.
it's like, would you just consider like Twitch, social media? Like by definition, it is, but would you really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
would
know
you?
what you mean. And I suppose
you
Twitch is
you would
more
you would have to say it
interactive
is.
for most people than YouTube again as well.
They have
So
different audiences too. Like they
yeah.
tender to different people. Like
Well, Mickey, what would your opinion, like what would be your personal definition of social media?
Social media. Social media, like to me, well, obviously I have to agree with a very technical description you gave because that is like sounds pretty
Yeah,
hard
like it's like
facts to
that
me. But
that is what it is, but
pretty
like
specific.
from
precisely what it is. But
person,
like to me, like shouldn't be like I get how Instagram and all that and stuff like
yeah.
Snapchat would be considered social media, but you could do YouTube and Twitch and stuff like in comments, but like
Yeah, but like
it's like
it's
it's
not to the
not
same
as like
level.
personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same
Yeah, I
personal
know
level.
I know you're saying, Mike, it's more anonymous if you're commenting on YouTube, that kind of thing. Like because you
What
don't
would
have a
you?
load of your friends that added to like your YouTube
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
account
you
knowing
can't
Yeah.
who
even
you
add
are.
friends on YouTube
So
like
I'm
yeah,
curious
so if
though.
you
Would you say this Twitch? Because I'm not really familiar with Twitch, but like I know you can like give like subscriptions to people and like your name can pop up. So like if there's one person who keeps going to like a specific person they like watching on Twitch, they would kind of maybe be someone in the specific Twitch users' fan base, they would kind of become like famous, you know?
I don't know what
don't
you mean.
understand, but Liam, yeah, me neither. I was going to say that the same.
Like,
Elaborate, Liam.
so would you say the same for? You wouldn't say the same for what for YouTube because it's anonymous, right? Because it's like you can't add people. I don't know if you can add people on Twitch. I don't
But
think you can
like
make friends.
You can
Right?
follow, like, but you can't
Twitch
add
is
friends.
a similar concept to YouTube, I think.
I think if
Yeah.
you really want to define social media, you got to define as what is social in the first place, like in like this day and age.
See, that social idea is
But like,
like the interaction, such as commenting,
Yeah.
liking, disliking, that kind
yeah,
of
I think
thing.
it's any interaction with, yeah.
What like what? Let's move on to what I was writing about earlier. It would be likes and
Hey, Giovanni,
dislikes.
before you go,
Oh yeah,
real quick though, I have something to say.
yeah, yeah.
What
Go
would you
ahead.
think if YouTube? What would you think if YouTube, like, you were able to like add friends? Like, let's say someone in the comment section and message them. What do you
Hmm.
think that would be like?
I don't think that would be a good thing because people on YouTube, comment sections are very open. People can literally just say what they want in most cases, and you get discourse in comments, but there's no like real personal attacks on people. I think it leaves it removed from that. I think it's quite a good thing that you can't add people and harass them. If they want, they can just block your comments and then not have to read from you again, kind of thing.
Yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
Get
see,
what I
I
mean?
think YouTube, like, I think YouTube could be like lumped in the same category as like Netflix or Amazon Prime, oh, that kind of thing. Like, it's like Netflix,
Or
but
Amazon
it's made by the people. I think
Prime.
Yeah,
that
People
would
oh,
be
yeah.
for
a
people.
good way of putting it.
Mm. So,
So, well, since we're just talking about commenting and stuff like that,
Hello.
hello. What about
Sorry.
oh,
what about likes and dislikes? Like, for example, in 2019 in Ireland and Canada, Instagram removed the ability for users to see how many likes other users' posts have. Like, what would your opinions be on that? Like, I would personally, like, I agree with that. Because, like, I mean, there is this thing of, like, oh, like, you know, like, I want to get as many likes as I can, but I can't, kind of thing. And it kind of gets rid of that aspect of people, which, you know, could upset
so there's
people.
no
Like,
like button at all.
there's
Yeah,
a
I think
like
the
The
button,
thing that I
but only the
one that is
person who put it up can see it.
What it would be like if that person couldn't even see it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, because
The like button's
the
there, but people
the
can't see what's being
problem
liked.
arises from people themselves not getting enough
Mm.
likes, isn't it? They say, "Oh, I want," and then they can still see the amount of likes that they get. So
Yeah.
does it remove the aspect of them still looking for the likes? I
No,
don't know.
I don't think it
But
does.
then again, it removes any pressure
Yeah.
if other people expect you to get a certain amount of likes. So I suppose it's a
Mm.
step in the right direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another example is, um, oh, actually, carry on. I need to look at my notes. Okay, so yeah, so the like
Yeah,
button was
so
first popularized by Facebook in 2009, where other
Mm.
platforms, you know, took on to this. Like, it is a relatively good idea, like, in my opinion. Like, you know, it's just kind of, it's a good feature. But then in
Mm.
20, I couldn't
yeah.
tell if this was 2016 or 2017. Like, I'm not a Facebook user, so like I wouldn't know firsthand. But from looking on the internet, it was kind of all the articles and stuff I was reading when it came out was they were all released in 2017 because I've seen some stuff with that too. So I don't know
Mm.
a definitive answer to that, but they added a dislike button, but they very quickly removed it. It was kind of like you could say a beta feature, like it was an experiment. But then very quickly, like
Yeah.
Facebook themselves realized they don't like that, as Mark Zuckerberg said here, his quote. That doesn't seem like the kind of community we want to create, which is kind of fair. It's very
Yeah.
toxic, like.
I think that again brings up the differences between the different social medias. So you have a platform like Facebook where everything's very personal that's posted. If you have people shitting on your personal personality and things, that can be very damaging. But when you've got something like YouTube where you're creating content, I think dislike
Yeah.
button is important.
Yeah, it's
It's more of a
feedback for even
constructive
the
criticism
person.
kind of dislike.
Yeah, it's good to have that kind of feedback. Then like
Yeah,
even the person who made
because
it
if you
knows,
put up a
okay, this is not good. Don't do
if
that
you put
again.
up a video explaining how to do something, like say a tutorial on YouTube, and it isn't the best, like people aren't getting from it what you're trying to put up, then a dislike is important. But if you're putting up pictures of yourself on Facebook and people are disliking that, that has no positives. That's just a negative thing to do. So there's no reason
Yeah.
why a dislike button
Well,
on
no. Well, what
Facebook
if you
is
seen
really
your
necessary.
friend, right? What if you seen your friend out doing something stupid, and you wanted to dislike it? Well, you could just dislike it and be like, in a sense, like,
No, but
why would you do
the
that?
thing is, you can like it and you can comment, why would you do that, you idiot? But disliking it
Yeah.
opens the door for it to be
You
used in
say
a
you can
negative
comment
way,
on it, but
which,
not dislike.
yeah, I think because people would be less likely to be toxic in the way of going to the effort of making a comment and writing about how someone looks or whatever, as opposed to just disliking it. It has the same effect, apart from one is more personal, so they
Yeah.
might not go as far as the comment.
I see what you're saying. I'm just thinking of like, let's say you seen your friend doing something stupid when they're drinking, like go out on the road or do something stupid like on a car wheel, or that new like planking challenge, whatever it is, like these dangerous
Yeah. Yeah.
friends and stuff, like to go out and plank on the road, like,
Yeah, you
and
see, that's why.
it's
That's
dangerous,
when
like,
Yeah.
and
you
you might
can
dislike
report.
something like that.
That's when like you can. That's when you report stuff. Like 1, 2 reports isn't gonna do anything, but if it is something genuinely dangerous and like a load of people report it, then Facebook themselves will have it like
That's what I
reviewed.
mean. You could report it and you could dislike, like, and I think that's like,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
see a
but
problem with that.
I think Liam, there's a difference there, and the difference is reporting is you're reporting a behavior that isn't right or something that shouldn't
Just
be up
shouldn't
for
be there.
people
Like,
to see, and then a dislike doesn't have an effect in the way that if something gets a certain amount of dislikes, it gets removed. All it does is say that people didn't like
I
what
see
you
what you're saying.
posted.
Yeah, I agree then, 100%. I
So like,
agree.
and back to my point about YouTube, like that's important when you need constructive criticism on your content, but when it's just pictures of you and your family and people are
yeah,
disliking
if
it,
people
that's
dislike
only
that,
negative.
like that kind of thing can lead to like things like cyberbullying as well, where like I mean, like there would be like personally, I wouldn't really mind, but like I suppose a lot of people, maybe possibly the majority of people, like it would really upset them if like they put a picture of themselves or whatever, and like literally like a school put it up and then like everyone else disliked it. That could hurt people. Oh my god, dying.
Mm.
Definitely.
That always depends on the situation and the context too, though. Like, I think if
Yeah,
it's like if it's on
definitely.
your school, just be like
Yeah.
that would be like that's fucked up. Like, but if it's someone in like another country, it's like what the fuck. Like, you can have a laugh sometimes doing that. Like,
The thing is on like social media as
not like
well,
not like
it's so much easier
not
for
as in bullying them. Like,
yeah, but like
but,
it's so
but
much
like
easier for people to do those kind of things because like you don't have like you're not face to face, like it's just easier for people to do stuff like that.
yeah, because if they're further
Yeah.
away, you don't
You
really
don't
have to like
have
you can
those
even
those
talk to them,
social
and never again like
consequences.
Mikey, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean, like
what do you think of all this, Mikey?
Any thoughts?
Honest thoughts. I'd say like when you're thinking about social media, like when you're thinking about all these bad things that can happen, there's like cyberbullying as well. That's like a negative aspect of it. Like when
Yeah,
you're thinking of those things,
we will be
it's like
talking about positive stuff about it too. Like,
yeah, no, gonna be negative, guys. But like
Here, let's
when you're thinking about
have some positives then.
okay,
I mean,
you get to talk,
Mikey.
you get to meet new people and you get to
of course.
chat and share your interests like that. I suppose that's a positive aspect.
I says
And
Liam
then
was
you
even
could have
Liam was even saying earlier off stream, like like as he said, was like meeting long lost family. You could say like, for example, like
Yeah, like you can reunite. Like,
yeah, like when I was younger, obviously I moved to lots of countries around Europe, and like like my mum, for example, had friends in different places, and like it probably wasn't until maybe the past 5 years that like, oh, she decided like, oh, do you know what? I'm gonna find these people on Facebook, and it's kind of cool how all these years later, 10, 15 years later, you can like reunite like with old friends. Like that's
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
previous
People hear stories of as well.
generations would never have had.
Yeah, and I think that's the general social media
Hmm.
is that aspect of it, the connectivity of it, that it doesn't matter how long it's been since you've seen someone or how far away they are, you can still get in contact with them.
Yeah, definitely. Especially
That's
like,
one of the
remember when we were little, right? I would use Club Penguin for example because it's just so prime. Like, remember, like everyone at school would be like, oh, 6 o'clock, this server, everyone head on. It's like
yeah.
you could talk about like even if you want to meet up with friends, like you'd kind of had to ask them at school beforehand, kind of thing. But these days, like if you want to meet up with someone or you need to talk to someone, like literally couple clicks and you're there. Oh, rip
Here's
Frank, I'll get him
another
back in.
aspect. It's not quite positive, but here's an aspect of social media. Do you think it's taken away from like actual social interactions in real life? Like, do you think it makes them
Um,
interactions more hard?
Well,
I
that's kind of a low, like that's the landmine of question
I
there
think
because like
that's kind of
COVID and
like a
everything
half and
now.
half question.
Yeah, I
Like
think that's a landmine right
there's
there.
two
Like,
sides to that, like, and both would be like compelling arguments, like.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm just texting Frank there to join back.
let's get
Um,
into the real questions. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard? I think he is.
yes, the Queen is also a chicken. Here, I'm gonna add Frank back. And
Thank
sorry,
you.
what was last said there?
You agreed, mate. You said, we'll
I
ask Frank here.
no,
Frank, you there?
you could look at both sides of. Sorry, what was it we were talking about? It's completely left my mind.
We were
Mark
talking about
Zuckerberg being a
No,
lizard.
before
middle
that.
there.
before that. We were talking about
We're
social
talking about the
interactions in
pros.
real life compared to online.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's talk about that.
exactly.
I mean, like at the same time, like Liam was saying quarantine. That's a really good example. Like you wouldn't be able to do any
It's tough,
social
man.
interaction, to be honest, without that. But like, I don't know.
Mm.
What do you think? Would it make you less like social in the real world? I'd
I think
say
these are
not.
landmine questions, man. I don't feel qualified to fucking answer this. Like, oh my god.
For example, like I don't know, like
I feel
Too few
like
questions.
there's people you wouldn't like talk to in person. I don't know. Let's say you start talking to Snapchat, then you start talking in person afterwards. Like, I suppose there's situations like
Mm.
that.
There's also the feature when you could add a friend on Facebook. Like I'd say I've like probably every other year. I only speak about to about I don't know like 10 of them maybe. I still have all of them as friends on my account. So like friends on there is like it's more disingenuous compared to the friends you have in real life. But it's more for social
yeah.
standing. When you have more friends online, it makes you look better.
Here, I
Yeah.
got one for
The
you. What do you think are the benefits of meeting people in real life as opposed to on the internet?
Are you talking about
More
like as
intimate.
in like online dating kind of thing?
Like even friends and stuff. What is the
Hmm.
benefit to meeting friends in person compared to online? What is the benefit?
You I think the biggest thing is you're getting a real
Yeah.
reading kind of
Hmm.
on the character of the person.
Yeah.
It's very easy to change aspects of yourself when you can doctor your profile or the way you interact with people, and you
Mm,
can create an image of yourself that isn't real, which can be harmful to other people and to you as well when you realize that that isn't really who you are, or
Yeah.
they realize that isn't who you are.
And like you
I
meet them in
think
person,
meeting
you mightn't
in
like
real
them.
life, when you get to know somebody, it's harder to be disingenuous in that way.
mm.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's two sides to this. It's a difficult subject that.
Yeah,
I think
because there's
that
people like you'd meet online and you'd feel get a connection with them, even though you wouldn't know them in actual real life. Like, sure, we know Gray. and
Mhm.
we've known Gray just now, and he's like, I consider Gray like pretty good friends.
Good
'cause
friend.
Mhm,
Exactly.
yeah.
even though we haven't really met in real life, so there's that side of it as well. Like we
Mhm.
just meet people online. It's like it's the same kind of like when you meet people in real life. There's the people you don't, the people you just like you click with,
Mhm.
and you're
Mhm.
able to just go off and
And
chat on a tangent with them for ages.
It's
as
crazy. Like
well,
we like think about it.
it's the thing.
Go on, Frank.
No, go on, Liam. It's grand. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, think of how crazy it is. Like we met Ben, right? So Ben is a friend of ours from another country. We're all living in Ireland here, and he's from another country. So it's just like you kind of get a taste of their culture and stuff. And like we're just all kind of becoming from teenagers to men now. And like some of us have known this guy like before COVID times. So it's like you kind of meet them, and you're kind of like when you're like checking up with people like all the time like this, like when you speak to them like once every 3 days or so, like, you're still getting
Yeah.
a taste of their life and what they're going through during quarantine. You know how they're keeping busy.
Yeah,
And it's
definitely.
like.
We had a long
Yeah,
discussion about
I
keeping
think
busy in
it's
quarantine last week.
Hmm.
yeah. I think it's the connectivity as well. Again, like because most of the world is on the internet now, you can find
Mm-hmm.
people with similar interests to you, even if there aren't that many people in your area in the near where you live who have the same
I
interests. You'll
could
always
really
find
that
people,
very much
and
so.
you'll gravitate towards the people who are like-minded. So
Yeah.
there's that the connectivity thing as well. Again, I think is the biggest pro that the social media can have. It's that it's easy to find people who are like you.
Another aspect of pros for social media would be for businesses, like let's say small businesses growing. Like I can't really think of, let's say, a small.
Like streamers, you'd say.
Uh, I think like suppose let's say yes during quarantine, there's plenty of people making masks, send them online, like custom, like like with like art on them, you could say. Like if it
Yeah,
was mouth to mouth, that would be completely impossible. But with social media, you could make Twitters, Instagrams, Facebooks for that, and you could really get it out there. Like you have such a large audience, then you become worldwide. Like there's like it goes past the limit of like not having that. Like it's a really good benefit. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have a
mm,
much larger audience, and another thing,
yeah,
partnerships and sponsorships. You're open to that then. Like there's loads of great things, like especially on like the business side. Like for example, like this
and
channel
yeah,
here,
it's easy enough.
a lot
Like
of
for you,
say carry on.
go on. What are you saying?
I was like
What are you
like for
saying? Sorry.
the a lot of this channel here, like obviously some of yous have come from Twitter, some of yous have come from my Instagram. Like I post out when I'm live, stuff like that. Like that's where a lot of my viewers have come from. Especially on this, I
Friends
reckon
of
if I
friends,
check into my
like.
if I looked into my analytics there, I'd probably like it'll let me know. It'll give me the analytic of like where like the percentage of viewers are coming from, and probably a good amount would be from Twitter and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And again, anyone watching, you can there's in the comments there at the top. There's the link to our Discord if you want to join up anytime. You can talk to people in there. You can set up different servers whenever there's like a bigger community in here. Get things going like.
you can push Liam's buttons if you want. That's always the most fun.
Even
Mm-hmm.
like the subscribers can talk to each other, like have their own discussions.
But in the
Yeah,
community.
I suppose this is one that Liam's gonna love with social media. Social media can advocates for freedom of speech when you think about it, because like it's just like you can
it's a
practically
very
say
interesting
whatever
topic.
you want.
Quite a hazardous topic in this day and age.
True, can be dangerous too, like, but you kind of
Considering all
have
the
the
censorship
ability to
that's
do it.
happening currently.
Yeah,
Even
You
with no
think
that
laws.
is happening, of course. Yeah.
hang on, let me catch up here. You think social media is like almost an addition to freedom of speech?
Yeah, you can
Like it's in
practically
there with
say whatever you
speech,
want, like.
like it's under it. Like, do you all believe you should be allowed to say whatever you want? Like, what
I
is the line you
think
draw say
I have
online?
a very like uh I suppose it's complicated to say though, isn't it? Because what you would want it to be is anyone can say what they want, anyone can have their own
Hmm.
opinions,
But they're
and then
be
you stop
respectful.
short. Yeah, so that's the thing, being respectful, but you stop
What does
short
that
of
mean?
things that would be. So let me finish, Liam, a second. I just need to
Yeah,
because
go
this.
on.
So like you need to be respectful to other people and that kind of thing. But then where do you draw the line? Because obviously nowadays people get offended by things that they shouldn't be offended by as
Yeah,
well.
of course,
So and
censorship
by that
as well does.
it's impossible to
Sorry.
draw a line in the sand that says, "Oh, I can say this," and no one will be offended by it because there's always someone who will just pick and no, because there's always someone who you want to be respectful to everyone. You don't want to say anything that's purposely going to hurt somebody. But at the same time, how can you voice your opinions if everyone is going to have,
Everyone's
there's
gonna have
always going to be
different
people.
opinions, and no one's ever gonna agree on the same thing. That's
Yeah,
just
and I think it's important, and a thing that doesn't really happen on social media is discourse. It doesn't happen. There people don't have conversations. It's just someone says something and then everyone who has a different opinion attacks that person instead of listening to what they have to say and then everyone um discussing and trying to reach a middle ground. I find it always ends with someone saying something that someone else doesn't like and then it
It's you'd want it, but like then again, you don't want people to just be dicks. Like,
yeah.
I suppose that depends on your definition of being a dick. Some people can just be voicing strong opinions, and people may be. There's another aspect. I think social media has made people overly sensitive.
I
Like,
wouldn't
I think
specifically say social media, but yes.
yeah, I agree with you, Rani,
Like
there.
obviously there's more
I
than
think
just social media that causes that, but yes, I would say social media is a big part of it.
mm-hmm.
I think it's the anonymity of it.
For
I think that is the thing
for example, for that
that
we could
makes
talk
people
about
say things that
cancel
shouldn't be.
culture, things like that too. They all fit
Oh,
in there.
so
Yeah, big
Oh,
big
toxic.
issue.
Like like
It's like someone can make a joke like years ago, just completely a bad joke and bad taste.
Little Britain is
Like
the
they would take
prime example
meaning
for that.
by it.
yeah.
I do not think that Little Britain should have been like taken off Netflix and stuff for having people in blackfaces. Like, yes, I understand some people could be offended by it, but
Hmm.
it's not racist. Like, to be racist is to actively hate a different race, and that wasn't done to hate on race. It was done as comedy. Like,
A
Comedy, yeah.
comedy delight, like it's meant to be taken not seriously. That's the
yeah,
joke. It's
you
not
see,
That's
serious.
the point of it.
Sincere,
comedy
but not
is
serious.
like, I suppose it's the making fun of like dark topics. Like, you never find jokes that is like two happy things.
It's finding the silver lining, man. It's finding the silver lining. Because a
Yeah,
lot of time comedians are like really actually like a lot of the comedians are like very depressed actually in real life. They have a lot of mental health issues.
Yeah.
But it's strange how these people who would you say have like such a I don't know, I can't speak about this, but I would say from my perspective like maybe a dark mind, but yet they make such they shine such a light from their jokes. Like if you can make someone laugh, like a whole fucking audience with one of your jokes that you wrote, like that's art. And we need to preserve that.
Like, for example, like
yeah,
the
and
chicken crossing the road's not funny, right? But then, like, I don't know, someone mimicking accents is funny. Like, just stuff like that.
Some
Like,
people are very good at doing it,
that's
like
how,
honestly.
yeah,
that
Like
is, like,
emo bars.
how comedy is, like, dark as an example, like.
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't think I think if something's a joke and if you watch Ricky Gervais, he talks about it like quite extensively, and the point he makes I think is really valid. He says jokes that make fun of the victim aren't funny
Mhm.
because you're victimizing somebody. So the way he's talking about like this is quite a serious one, but jokes about rape and things that make the victim look bad, then okay, that's going to be offensive to a lot of people, and you wouldn't tell a joke like that. but it's really important to think about the context in which the joke was told, and how it's not told in a way that is trying to victimize or make it look like you hate people. Then you need to respect the fact that the person was joking. They weren't
Mm.
meaning anything by what they said.
The context matters in
Just
every
killing
situation. Like,
comedy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I mean, I'm not saying people shouldn't have the right to be offended. Like, of course, you can be offended. Like,
you
but
don't have the right to be offended. Like,
well, you know what I
But
mean.
you do.
Yes, it's not written down
yeah,
in like a
Well,
constitution,
actually,
but yeah.
that's another interesting thing. It's the right to be offended, I suppose. It's not a right, like you said, you might then go in the Constitution. But I mean, you can be offended by things, but the fact of the matter is, who cares? Like, you're offended by that,
other people
okay?
control your
You
happiness.
can you can block that person. You can have nothing to do with them. That's fine. There's no good that comes from taking what someone said out of context, being offended by it, and then telling everybody that this person needs to be hated because of a joke they made or something like that. I think
Hmm.
it's just negative. If you're offended by something, you can remove yourself from that very easily.
I think for
You
that,
don't
Bring
have to
something
we
present
could.
it in a
outside of
way.
social media, but it relates to the topic we're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. That he was talking about social media. Like, I was like,
It's like
for
people can be over. Sorry, so go ahead.
let's say
Go ahead.
like an example, like well of this kind of like people having the right to be
Mentality.
offended. That's just like in my opinion not right. Is for example, like remember like when the Black Lives Matter movement, people start tearing down these statues of like
Great
slave
historical
traders and
figures.
stuff like that. Like that should not be done because like having them there is, you could say, a reminder of our past and our history, and like the reason we basically learn history at school
Yeah,
is to
You
not
want
but
make the
you want to
same
erase
there is a
mistakes
thing there,
again.
learn
isn't
from
there?
history.
There's
Everyone chill
there's a
for a
line
second.
there, I think. What was it, Liam?
I just said everyone chill for a second there. Everyone
Yeah,
spoke at
because
the same
everyone was
time.
talking at
Go for it.
once.
All right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of to prevent history repeating itself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, look,
Learn from
when we
history.
look through history from a lens, like you have to observe like human beings, okay? And if you look at them, like there was always good human beings and there's always like dark human beings,
Hmm.
you know?
Like for example, like like we learn about history at school. We learned that like the slave trading and like it was bad. Like we've learned that it was bad, and if let's say okay, all these slave traders are erased from history, they eventually 200 years down the line, if they're erased from history, they'll be
People forget.
forgotten, and
Mhm.
people won't
Giovanni, I
then
think
know
there's
it's
an
bad.
important. Yeah, and I get what you're saying as well, but I think there's an important distinction there is if you have a statue of somebody up somewhere in a town or whatever, and people, I think what happened with a lot of them statues was people weren't aware of who those people were. They didn't know that they were slave traders. I bet the majority of the people who walking past it every day had no idea who they were. And
I
then when
suppose.
Most of
people
this
find out they were
information came from the
angry,
news.
Nice.
they so but what I'm saying is them statues weren't there to prove to be like, oh, we need to learn from history. They were statues that were erected in honor of that person. So when I
Yeah,
say
I
don't tear the
understand you.
statues down, maybe make it clear that the statue is there for that reason. Do you
Of
know,
course,
on the
yes.
plaque or something? Yeah, make it clear that that is there for the reason,
Yeah, I
or
understand.
maybe
Like,
move them to museums or whatever.
yeah,
Don't commemorate that person who did that evil
I
deed.
understand
If
how they were
you
put there
understand where I'm coming
to
from.
honor them, but like they should be
Yeah,
kept there as a reminder, like of our past.
and yeah, and that's fine, but I think you need to make sure that it isn't that people know that that's there for that
Yeah,
reason.
like there's a reason it's put there, and there should be a
They're
reason why
taught
it
to make
stays
sure.
there.
Yes, I think that's
So
an
are you making the
important.
argument that we should make the worst people in history known to everyone? We should make people know from
Yeah,
these, so
yeah,
we have our
Yeah,
they should
history
know.
stored into our mind of
There's not
how
But
always
the
just
thing
human
is,
beings.
terrible people.
history.
Of course, Of course not.
There's like great people who have done great deeds and stuff, like
What was that?
and changed history for the better sometimes.
Yeah,
Like,
just learn about
Even
them too.
small merchants who did small deeds that was never noticed
No,
some point in
I
history.
I think an important thing is, do you know the
mindset
grave
back
of the
then
unknown
was
soldier, that
right.
kind of thing?
Yeah.
A statue like that commemorates a group of people, like you said, who obviously did important things, but you could say small deeds on the grand scale of things. Things like that to commemorate them, but I don't think it would make sense to have statues of every merchant that did a small deed.
Yeah, no,
You know
it
what
was
I
just
mean?
a joke. Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Like Lego figurines for them.
Yeah. Actually, that'd be fucking cool.
Imagine.
I'd fundraise that.
Right, guys,
Sponsored
fundraiser
by
link.
Legoland.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. That's good points. So what else do we have
We're a bit
here?
off topic from social media, but that's still interesting.
Well, is there anything anyone would like to talk about social media?
Mikey, you've been well quiet.
Let's get into the media part.
It's because I tend to go off topic. So I'm just trying to calculate what to say properly before interjecting my forte, I
Well,
suppose, or
we talked about some positives of social media.
my opinions.
What about some negatives?
Negatives of social media.
Yeah.
Back up, isn't it?
Why is we've spoken a bit
Did we
there
talk
about
much
how.
about-
Sorry.
We were kind of talking about cancel culture there indirectly, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
should we
And
were.
get into
comedy,
cancel
a little bit.
Mikey, do you want to elaborate on some cancel culture points, maybe?
Yeah, and I suppose there are negatives
Like,
about social media as
yeah.
well. Like, for example, like people having mental health problems, as we're speaking about the likes and dislikes and things, and cyberbullying. I have not done. I've not done enough research into this, but I'm going to do more, and I probably might. We might do something on it someday. But I was having a look at. So Facebook was released in 2012, and on the HSE website there was statistics on in Ireland the amount of people who committed suicide a year. Now, obviously, with the way that we're taught, you'd expect it to be going
Facebook,
up.
Yeah. Facebook on the phone, Giovanni.
I don't know. That's like when it became like I suppose like in Ireland it became mainstream,
What do you mean by
Right, okay.
mainstream?
Because I was just thinking that.
and like
What
that's
do you mean by mainstream?
by mainstream I mean like people
Popular?
actually start going out and
Mainstream.
using it. Like yeah, but yeah, I was having a look at the statistics there. And from 2012 to 2019, I was kind of shocked. These are not suicides related to social media, but like all of them. And per year, they were going down roughly
Specifically,
like 20 less per year. And so there's 4,005 in those 8 years. 3,180 of them were male, which is 79.4%. And with the females, every year was between 110 and 98 that hadn't changed. Whilst it was the male one that grew. Which I was kind of like, it was kind of a shock to look at. And like during this time,
I think it's
between
Is
2016,
Ireland exclusively?
yeah, between 2018, sorry,
yeah,
2016 to 2019, Facebook was growing 21% a year. So I think by like 2012 and 2016 is when it kind of went like, it was like big, big, big. Like it's still growing, but that's when it was like big. Like
Mainstream.
explosion of kind of
like
popularity.
I'm definitely gonna look more into it, try see what like the correlation with social media
I
would be.
think
But I was just kind of surprised by that.
there's a really like what do they call it? A crisis of I'm trying to think of the word now. It's a big
Identity.
cause for male suicide in Ireland. and I'm trying to think of purpose, a crisis of purpose,
You
where
see, before
um
2012, it's really hard to find statistics on it. I was looking for a good while.
yeah,
I think I don't know. I
and
don't know
I think
why
a
that
big
is. I think that's when, like, I suppose advocacy for mental health kind of started to grow. I think that's why these statistics started to come out then.
yeah, yeah, it's only very recently, really,
Yeah.
like because mental health wasn't talked about in Ireland at all until the last 10 years, I think.
Mm.
A very taboo subject.
But it was just kind of a shock that the actually no, I seen yeah, actually no, never mind. But it was just shocking to see that like they were always between 110 and 98, which is like, it's pretty linear,
Hmm.
like it's pretty much like level. Like that hasn't really
That's
changed.
great. Hmm.
I know it was just such a
That's
weird like chart to read.
yeah, it can't be completely off guard.
Yeah, like I definitely expected like between those years when like suppose I'm just using Facebook and as example, that's the only one I really took a look at. But I expected that it'd be going up and up and up, but it was going down. I'm not saying there's a relation between that, but I just expected there'd be a relation in where they'd be going.
I think it going down would be is that the number of suicides going down, you're saying, Giovanni?
Yeah, the number's going down by 20 a year on average.
Yeah, think that's I think that's an advent of mental health awareness
Yeah,
becoming
that's what I was
very
thinking.
mainstream and popular in Ireland
Yeah.
since 2012. That it's become a very big deal, especially in schools and that. And like I know we
Hmm.
all give out about it, but I think it's important to have the discourse are there. People are aware of it, so the people who do need to know that they're well cliched, but that they're not alone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I suppose like this is not really social media, but like during quarantine, obviously people aren't able to see like I suppose like people need to see therapists and stuff. They can't really do that, but like at least with the internet now, like you do get like legitimate like online therapy for people. Like I suppose that's another good thing
Yeah.
with the
Mental
internet in general.
professionals.
Yeah,
They still
professionals.
can like online.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
like
still
I'm not on
positive
about like Joe
things,
like
but like
people on Reddit giving advice. I'm not on about that as in getting help. Or
yeah,
like
like
googling your
basically,
symptoms, not like that. But
yeah, Google your symptoms. You're dying in 3 days.
Yeah. Um, I think that kind of ties in with what you said, Mikey, as well, like being able to find people who are like-minded and that, and who you can actually have a
Oh my
connection
god,
with. I
can
think
I
that
talk about
that
that for a second?
definitely helps.
yeah, definitely, Mikey.
Like,
Yep. Go on.
like for like-minded people, like as in me, an anime fan in our kind of town, like our kind of culture. It's not a
Hmm.
very broad
I
topic.
know.
Yeah, no.
So I'm able to go online on stuff like Discord, other websites, and find people I can relate to and talk to things about like that.
Hmm.
Well, if social media didn't exist, I'd kind of just be in stuff for anyone to talk to.
Watching
So it's
Netflix all day alone.
yeah, just watching Netflix
I
all day
think
is like I need to rant about this to someone. I need to tell someone how good this is.
Yeah, it's
But
unreal.
in
Hmm.
Like,
yeah,
cases
I
where
think a big
social
thing,
media wouldn't
Mikey,
be a
as
thing,
well is
it'd be
it's
harder.
it's kind of that anonymous thing again, but like I don't watch anime. I've actually never watched anime in my life, so I'm not an
Shame
example
on
of
you,
this.
Frank.
There's Yeah, shame on me. Yeah, I probably should. But there's definitely people who are in a similar situation to you in that way, I bet, around here that watch anime and that, and they feel that this just isn't the kind of place you would do that, sadly.
yeah, it's
It's kind
because
of the
it's
way the
not like
culture
it's like
works.
not like dense enough to
Um,
have enough
but
people
you
who are
can,
into that in one area.
yeah, and but I'm sure there's so many people around here that would be into that, but you would never bring it up in conversation, so you would never be able to make that connection with people. But
Hmm.
the anonymity of gives you that you can talk about those things freely. And it's kind of sad to think that there's people who are in the same boat as you who might be your neighbor and you would never know and never be able to connect with them on that.
Yeah,
If
definitely, man.
anyone
It is.
gets what I'm saying.
I was
Not to
taking
say that all of your neighbors watch anime, Mikey, but
I was taking a
I'm a
look at
very lonely anime fan.
I was taking a look at I was trying to look up like dangerous social media trends, and it was genuinely so difficult. I had to use a VPN because on like Irish internet, when you look up when you try to look up for dangerous social media trends, challenges, that kind of thing, literally the only thing that came up was the ghosting challenge that the Gardaí are trying to stop. Gardaí being the Irish police force. It's like ghosting is the TikTok trend where you lie on the road expecting cars to stop. Liam was saying earlier, it's called planking. Is the Liam was saying
It
earlier.
used to be called blanking.
Yeah, it used to be till TikTok came. And like there was when I turned on VPN, there was a couple more things I
Fucking
found.
TikTok.
Like
Can we all agree that TikTok doesn't count as social media and it should be purged?
yeah, but like we can talk about it. But I was looking, I seen. Oh, no, I didn't write down a source there. I forgot. But I was looking at the Tide Pod challenge, and in the US in the year 2017, there were. Have a guess how many calls there were to poison control. And the whole of US was
Oh, I
300
bet
million
there
people.
was hundreds of thousands, was there?
Uh,
Ridiculous
it
number.
was 12,000 calls.
Oh,
That
right.
is a big.
Platform we're
Won't be
using right
surprised if
now
it was
would be
12.
like a aspect of social media, wouldn't you say? Like podcasts, we wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't have this platform like YouTube or
Yeah,
Twitch,
definitely.
not Twitch, but like Instagram. That's
Yeah,
another
That is
positive
true.
aspect.
I agree. Yeah,
To
business
discuss
growth.
issues.
I suppose.
Business growth,
I
yeah.
mean, I suppose you could put the podcast in business growth, even though it's not really a business. Well, it can be a business if you
Will
want
be
to
one day.
click
One
the
day.
link in the description to kingman.net with our affiliate link. That could. There you go. We'd fit in that category.
Shameless self promotion.
Go do the penguin thing, yeah.
And Joe, the choking challenge.
Penguin.
Joe, that choking
Hey,
challenge where you
No.
choke someone till they pass out.
Giovanni, you weren't meant to tell anyone about that.
Oh my no! Shh. Yeah, but between this was before social media, so I suppose it doesn't really count as like.
Old
I
school.
mean, there was social media, but not to the extent today. Between 1995 and
Old people.
2008,
Was that Mikey?
No, I said old school, man, not old people.
in the US, 82 teenagers died from this. This was like an asphyxiation
Fuck's sake.
challenge, and the average age of them was 12 years old. And I didn't write this down, but I remember I was showing Liam, I was telling Liam about it earlier. I was looking up what was the one. It's like there was the ALS ice bucket challenge, and there was like a version of it, but it was the boiling water challenge, and like the youngest person
Dude.
to ever be admitted to
Oh.
hospital for it was just 3 years old. And that was a social media trend. That one,
Nobody wants to hear about this, man. The viewership just goes down, like,
like it is horrific, like,
Like-
but it's facts.
dude,
It's a fast Liam.
that's fucked up, like. The dark stuff, like, you can get censored now on YouTube, like.
That's something else. Like, what's it called? The internet or social media can popularize dangerous trends like that.
Yeah, wait,
so
can
Yeah,
we just do that?
that's what we're talking about.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We just touched it.
I-
Hey
Liam,
guys,
this is
please
one
don't
for
try
you.
any of those
Like-
challenges. This is like a warning. Do not
Yeah.
try them. It is
Yeah.
so stupid.
Yeah.
Like it's common knowledge. I don't know why people do it.
Yeah, I can't even believe, like we're not talking about this, man. Like, I'm just putting it in the back of my mind.
I suppose the reason why is I was also looking at it earlier. I don't have it
Liam.
written down, but it's like it
Oh,
takes
right.
till you're 25 years old for your brain to fully develop. So
Because I
like teenagers don't have
Hang
that
on,
yeah.
that thing of
what are you
like
saying, Frank? Oh my god, Frank, what are you saying?
Is Giovanni finished? I was just waiting for him to
No,
finish his
I was
thought
just
there.
about to
It was
finish.
breaking up on me.
Basically
Yeah,
they
Liam,
don't have
finish.
that thing of like being a I forget what it was like what it actually was. I'm just kind of off the head, but it was like you don't have that development where you properly think of your actions, like you
Yeah.
think of the consequences of doing your
That critical
actions.
thinking kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's why
Your frontal
people
lobe isn't
do that.
developed yet.
There's another thing about free speech. Like,
Yeah.
you're thinking about consequences to your actions, and like actions, could you consider verbal actions? Like, could they still get consequences for that, or should free speech be advocated for like everything? You can say anything, but still face
Yeah, so
consequences.
this is what I was going to say to Liam there, Mikey.
Yeah, hang on, Mikey.
Are you still there?
Yeah, Frank, I'm here.
Yeah. So I'm just asking you, Liam, because I know you've got very strong opinions on censorship, and I actually don't have an opinion on this. I haven't thought about it much, but do you know things
Hmm.
like the Tide Pod challenge and things like that that were on social media, and you get
Yeah.
young people watching it,
Yeah, no,
and
I don't think I don't think
so
that's a freedom of speech. I just think it falls under like what would you call it, a call to action. It's kind of like one of them things like shouting fire in cinema. It's like you can shout a fire in cinema if there is a fire in the cinema, but if you can't, it's called if there's
yeah.
no fire, it's a call to action, and that doesn't fall under freedom of
But
speech.
I think as
There's
well,
no ground there.
it is again, it is a bit grayer than that because if you have people like
Yeah,
obviously there's people who put up these videos as a joke and they're like they don't intend anyone to take any meaning from it. But then you get young people like Giovanni was saying whose brains haven't developed or they can't think properly and they think,
three
oh, this will be
years
funny
old.
to do because yeah, and then they do it and they can get seriously injured. Does the blame go to the person who thought it was all right to do this when they knew they had a viewership that might include young people? I feel like they're that now I haven't thought about this much, but is that an instance where those
Hmm?
people should be removed from the public
See,
eye where
I think
people
if it
can
was a specific video, like you should go on the specific video and remove that rather than the whole account. Unless like
yeah.
maybe if their whole account has this thing, but like I don't think so. Like the context matters in every situation. Always, like in law, it always matters.
I mean,
Yeah.
like it's really difficult to track who was the first to do these
Yeah.
Yeah,
challenges because they
that's
grow so
fair.
quickly, and there's
But
hundreds of thousands of these videos of people doing this stuff. Like,
Would
yeah,
it
but I
would be
don't even mean
interesting.
like catch the first person. I mean anyone who puts up a video with that content that can be seen by people, a large number of people, should that be removed for the safety of the people watching kind of thing? I don't know. It would be very difficult to implement
Like
something like
we say,
that.
like PewDiePie,
At
for
least,
example.
Like PewDiePie.
yeah, what about
Well,
him?
because PewDiePie was known for releasing a very controversial video one time, and this is when
Everything
Disney dropped him.
controversial. I shouldn't we
You
talk
just
with
remember
Logan
this?
Paul
What
instead?
video was it?
It was like one of PewDiePie's one. I can't really. I don't even know if I'm able to say it. It was like PewDiePie's one. He went on Fiverr. It was like this app or something. It was like a thing called Fiverr. Like you pay $5 and people will do things for you. Like I don't know, like Jesus singing or something. You just ever see this?
No.
yeah, I've seen
I've never
videos of
heard of it.
people they do like
And
I went on
he dressed
Fiverr
up as
to
a
get
Nazi
people
and
to
stuff.
write me
Like
a song and stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. But like, is there dark stuff on that? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, well,
Screwton that's
basically,
in the Call Me Kevin video.
yeah, I know,
He
but like,
goes and hangs with
is
him.
I don't know. I haven't really looked into Fiverr. I thought it was just for like like creative stuff, like like music,
mm,
that kind of thing. Is there really like a dark side to that?
uh,
Like, I imagine
well,
there would be,
it
but
was
like,
really controversial.
hmm,
It was really controversial because here's what happened. Like PewDiePie basically went on Fiverr. He made a video where he was just trying to do some funny stuff, like get like Jesus to sing something hilarious, like with the man who looks like Jesus, and he was doing like singing or something. Like I can't really remember it now. I think the video was taken down, and there was a couple other things.
Oh,
And there was Africans or whatever. He paid Africans to hold up a sign and like dance, but it was on the sign. What it was written was why the video had to be taken down.
hmm, huh. I
Yeah.
don't think I've heard of that. That's
Yeah, and
interesting though.
no,
this
I
is when
don't
Disney dropped him off because he did like the Nazi video as well where he dressed in a Nazi uniform.
Hmm, yeah,
I
I've
think
seen
clearly as a
that
joke.
that meme.
And they connected the two dots here and they were like, oh look he
Yeah, that's
supports this.
stupid.
They dropped him.
That's a good example of what we were speaking about earlier about comedy and that kind of thing.
That's what I mean. It's always a great line. Like
yeah. I think yeah. Where do you draw the line at comedy? Because I think the Nazi uniform thing, like if you hear PewDiePie talk about that,
huh?
it's his view of it was a joke kind of thing. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah, and
and
Yeah.
Kim.
and things spiral like that. But then again, when his audience is so big, like he was the biggest channel on YouTube at the time, I
If one
suppose he wasn't
percent of
making
people were offended, that's on his viewer base. That's like
Mm.
million people.
million
Like,
people. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's exactly accurate, but like, yeah,
Well,
there'll be a
yeah,
lot of
he had
people
like
that think.
100 million, and 1% of a million's like.
But like, it's interesting when you look at like Count Dankula as well.
Daft.
Like
Yeah,
So
Dankula as well.
daft.
Like
yeah, I was gonna
Those
say
made a
Count
video.
daft,
Dankula.
Giovanni.
Like he's from Scotland and or the United Kingdom, and I'm not sure. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
Scotland.
he released a video where he made a pug. He was trying to do a video for his. He basically made a video for his girlfriend where he's trying to make the pug, who's meant to be a cute thing, trying to be the most
Yeah.
uncute thing. So he made the pug put up his hand and actually slit. So he was taken to court and like he was taken before the court and they were like they arrested him and they took him to court one more time.
He got
And
absolutely railed by the press there.
yeah, he was railed by the
Railed is the
press,
only word you
honestly.
can use, like.
Exactly, man.
What-
And
That was I think that's a serious case of what the fuck was going on there that managed to go as far as it did. Like that is clearly something that you know, like I'm not particularly familiar with it, but was he a raging Nazi?
mm,
No.
absolutely not.
So see that's the thing.
Clearly a
If
joke.
he was shouting
He even
obscenities at
stated in the
Jewish
video
people on
before
his
he even
YouTube
did
channel
anything
or
that it
whatever.
was a joke. He stated in the video before anything
Yeah,
happened that
see,
it's all a joke before the video even started.
that's insanity that went that far.
Exactly.
Like that's
They tried to make him pay an
yeah,
800 fine. He said, "I'm not doing it." And they kept bringing him up to courts, higher court every time.
Mm.
And I'm not
yeah.
sure, but I think he went before the UN Human Rights, I believe. He's awesome. Like, go check him out on YouTube. He's amazing. Count Dankula, great YouTuber,
It's like, you
and
all
he's
know him, but like, have you watched his question?
yeah, he's got great videos. He's got Mad Lads there if
If
you
you
just
have,
like watching,
if you've ever
learning some
seen
stuff
that
about some.
that country song parody where he like does offensive comments for each country, that's him.
Yeah. I haven't those, but
I was
He
like,
does Mad Lads as well. Extraordinary people in history, crazy people.
I remember like we were speaking about like, who's that? Frank gone. Anyway, we were speaking about like, we'll wait for Frank to come back. But yeah, he's a great YouTuber. Like, Frank's there now.
Mikey,
I'll carry
what are
on.
you thinking? Are you familiar with Count Dankula?
I'm not very familiar with him, but I do know the case and everything that was put against him about the bloody
hello.
Nazi pug.
Hello. We were speaking about earlier about social media. We're going on about. My members mentioned that like it was like very appealing to people. I think it was when we're talking about the trends. Frank's typing. But anyway, it's like there's like why is
I'm not.
social media so appealing?
Hang on, is that Frank?
Yeah,
You there?
I didn't type. I didn't type anything.
I was like, but do you want to discuss how is social media so appealing to people and especially young people? I was writing down like my own personal opinions on why it would be.
Okay.
For example, if you look at the Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram logos, they're made with like bright, vibrant colors, which is generally seen as appealing to younger people, which is it's just how it works, I suppose. And like, yeah, if you even look at their logos, or if you go into, if any of you use Twitter, like Twitter, it has that bright blue background. Like there's so many reasons why it would be appealing. Like another one even is like Instagram and Facebook would be the best example of this. Like you click into people's profiles, and like they have this like misleading thing that they're perfectly happy, like they have these great lives, when in reality it's just, you could say, modified pictures, almost like acting.
Yeah, it's a doctored.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like someone,
there's
they're
comments
like,
here and there.
oh,
High
but I'm
quality.
not that happy. Like that means I must have a shitty life. Like it gives that onto people. But like, I suppose at the same time, like that's like it can be appealing for people to put up this, as Frank said, doctored stuff, like modified, to make other people think that they live these great lives and that they're a great person. Like, It's like, oh, like look at me, I'm better kind of thing. Like though there's so many reasons why social media is appealing to people.
I think it's just a straight up case of narcissism with a lot of people. I think it almost breeds it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Like the
that's
social
it.
media culture, like the way we were talking about how people they get to still see their likes. I think that's very strange. Like because when they are even growing up, like you got to think about this.
Yeah.
Like I even think it's from a family perspective. Like the reason young people might be so interested in to go to social media when they're growing up is because like look at them, like their brothers, their sisters are doing it, whatever, you know. So like
Mm.
everyone wants to like grow
Like,
up and meet the town, like you know.
even
Everyone wants to hop on the bandwagon.
yeah,
Everyone wants
kind
to know
thing.
everyone. Like,
If you don't do it, you're left out as well.
hmm.
No one wants to be
Yeah,
left out,
definitely.
so joining it would be appealing. And like,
Look, it's almost like
Unless you're me and you just
Hmm.
delete everything.
yeah, I don't post on my actual Instagram, but
hmm.
yeah, for example, even like if you look at like Instagram heart buttons, like when you double tap that screen, the big heart comes up, and like for like a split second covers the image. Like just that visual is appealing to people. I can't think of
Yeah,
sound things, but like
the dopamine hit.
yeah, it's like even when you think of video games, like when you
Exactly.
like in some games, like for example, like I don't know, like a sniper game, you get that headshot and makes that satisfying sound. Like that's appealing to people. That causes what is essentially an addiction.
Whoa,
Like
Giovanni, whoa, that took a turn.
Yeah,
for example, like that noise. Like
He's
Giovanni's like, I
spitting
love
I'm
facts right now.
addicted to
someone
shooting
that's-
people in the head.
do you know what I mean?
Right.
Fucking GTA players like, oh my god, like
Like
bullshit.
okay,
This guy
here's
killed
a
his
better
granny
example.
thinking she'd respawn at the nearest hospital.
Okay,
Hey, how
okay.
can we not
Shit like
forget this
that.
though?
Right.
Geo, fucking gaming culture. They were trying to cancel gaming culture like GTA and Call of Duty,
Retarded. That's
like
it.
these cause violence and stuff. Like,
I
how could they
strongly
forget
disagree
that?
with
Yeah,
that.
and that is just like not a fact at all.
Of course, it's all ridiculous. Like,
Okay.
not having this conversation. Like,
Right,
we
guys,
all
I
agree
have
that
I
was
have a
ridiculous, right?
better example, a much better example. For example, casinos, slot machines. You go on that
Right.
slot machine, right? That
Yeah.
noise is so appealing to people.
That's kind of.
Like
We
think
can talk
of
about this another
just
time,
think
but,
of
like-
the noise that slot machine makes when it's spinning and when it finishes. Like if you win, that winning noise, like that causes addiction in itself. Like
Mm.
you might notice.
Dude, we should make a video on gaming.
PSN.
We could even talk
Definitely.
about gaming culture.
Yeah,
Here,
definitely.
here, can I say something?
Yeah,
Would you like consider PSN like social media? You couldn't.
yeah.
Could you?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Like by
definitely.
the definition.
Yeah.
By the definition, it is.
I
Like
definitely
the,
would.
The one Giovanni gave us at the
As in
start of the video.
PSN itself is separate from the game, like, but PSN, yes.
Mm.
Here. I think it's like this.
I'm
You're
reading
asking
these
if
comments and they're hilarious.
they're pretty pug jam. Oh wait, shit, we're not listening to that. Come on, boys.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a PSN though, I think of course it's social media. Like, look, you're able to look at people, or sorry, not look at people, but meet to them, right? You're able to see their avatar or whatever. Like, that's a kind of avatars are a thing on themselves. Like, but it's a little thing. Like, but you meet people from any country of the world playing whatever game you want. And one of the philosophers, I wish I could recall his name right now, he said, playing is work for the sake of work. In a sense that we play a game just for the sake of it, the same way you play piano.
Guys, we're at 85 total views right now. Unreal.
We're at what?
85 total views.
Jeez, that's we're
It's
moving
just-
up in the world.
We're so popular. Like, hurry up and like and subscribe before we're like really
Genuine.
popular.
Yeah, like
It's-
This channel
it's
does
just
far
fun, isn't it?
better
Like-
than my actual channel in like one stream.
Here, man, it's community,
We
like,
hacked-
of
it's 'cause-
course.
it's
We
you're
hacked
here.
the algorithm.
They just love our sexy voices, Giovanni.
Everyone's just
Exactly.
make all their fucking conspiracy theories here, like, you fucking conspiracy theorists. It's the algorithms. No, it's me. It's
Yeah,
Mikey.
it's like-
This is
like
the
you
reason why
suppose-
we're
Our like we're young. We're all 18 here. Like
We
we
are
are the
young,
next generation. We're
are
the future.
free.
Like I suppose like our like I suppose everyone's opinions important, but like our opinions is kind of what like the future will be based on. Like when I suppose
Guys, you want to know something
our-
scary?
That's
We
terrifying,
are the
Javan.
future. We are the future.
Yeah,
Oh
like
no, we're
when
screwed.
our
We are the
generation
president.
turns into politicians, like this is the kind of stuff they're going to be focusing on. Like
Big Daddy Liam's gonna be a politician someday.
maybe not our specific
Oh, fuck.
opinions, but like the opinions of our generation. Like
Hmm.
I think that's what's channel
Guys,
with like us would be
I
appealing
just
to people.
realized something. We're so sexist. We don't have a female person in here. Shame on us.
Yeah.
Here.
Fuck.
We did try, but
boys. Like,
Male.
You
damn.
deserve that, like.
No diversity in here, boys. We're censored already. Like,
Hey, at least I'm bisexual, so we get away with that. LGBTQ.
bags.
Did
Like,
Matthew McFadden dislike the video?
I don't know.
there's no dislikes for me. Hey, we just had 10. Come on, let's go. 10 likes.
Woo! 10
Smash
likes.
the
We're
like
just
button.
like
Nice, nice.
Hit the fucking bell so you're always notified all the time, all day, 24/7, 365. Always notified. We're
Well,
always
How
watching.
it feels having Liam on Discord.
guys, let's move on to something else then.
Ah, man.
So Frank,
What do we got there,
What
Joe?
is he commenting there?
I suppose you done this
What's
too,
the-
Liam, but you both went through the experience of deleting all your social medias. How do you affected your life?
Great.
You?
It's good to take a break.
It'd
Yeah,
be
I
boring.
suppose.
Learn
Like
to do it. Like,
it's the absence of me in Liam's life. Like, oh, must be so hard for him.
But like Frank, you've been very invested in it.
promise.
Like how does your life seem different? Like what's changed?
I think getting away from it's literally just time. I feel like Instagram and Facebook, when you're sat there scrolling, it's really bad for your like
eyes.
work ethic or something. Like
Hmm.
you're sat there doing nothing.
Yeah,
Like
pretty
literally
much.
nothing. You're not expanding. Like even if you're watching YouTube videos, a lot of the time you're watching things you're interested in and things that are adding to your information. So you're learning things, even if it's biased YouTube that you're watching. Like, but if you're just scrolling through pictures of people on Instagram and Facebook, it just drains you. I feel like
Hmm.
you feel like you have so much more time. I haven't felt the need to get them again
Exactly.
since I deleted them. The only one that I do kind of miss is Snapchat, and that's literally just because talking to people. But
Yeah, I
I
feel
can
like
do that
true. I
on
feel like
WhatsApp and Discord and that. And the people that you actually want to talk to, you end up talking to them more. And you the people that you just send pointless snaps to, you don't talk to anymore. So I think it's actually productive to do that. Like, there's no point in having all these people on Snapchat. If you really want to talk to somebody, then have them on
Hmm.
WhatsApp or an app where you're not just talking for the sake of it. You're actually talking about meaningful things.
yeah, I feel like
Fucking
Although the
call
odd
them.
meme
Fucking
is
put on the face
appreciated
camera.
if
Hello,
anyone
like.
wants to send.
Yeah.
I feel like Snapchat used to be
Damn.
like for only talking to people. Recently, like when like where the story section is, there's all those random shite. Honestly, and like they're
Hmm.
so clickbaity.
They're all,
Like
yeah, they're all designed though. Like, these people studied psychology. They know things about your brain that your brain doesn't know about
hmm.
itself.
Frank, what about like
Yeah,
Like,
it's
they've
like
studied
that.
these things. Go on, Frank.
If you haven't watched it, I think all of you have, but that Social Dilemma on Netflix is
Thank you,
absolute.
Frank.
It's brilliant at letting you know how it works. It's you versus the computer, and the computer is being run by all the best page and coders and engineers in the world. You're not going to win that fight. You're up against your brain is being manipulated by these sites to enjoy it so that you can make money for them by clicks like that. It it feels if you're part of that system, it feels like when I found out about it at least, it feels like you're being manipulated and controlled, and I don't like that feeling.
hmm.
That's the main reason I
Hmm.
deleted the
Terrifying.
and whatever conclusion you draw from it doesn't really matter as long as you're aware of what's going on, I think. Like for me, that isn't on. Some people wouldn't care, and that's fine. But you need to be aware of it. I think it's really important that everyone knows the actual effect that social media has on your brain because it's designed to have an effect on your brain.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What about Frank?
Like,
What is like? I suppose like with sleep. Like, do you feel like you sleep better or you sleep more?
definitely. I bet you will.
That's what I feel like would happen.
Well, in fairness to me, oh, actually, I was gonna say I don't, but I actually do. I used to stay up
Yeah,
all night
you
or
stay up
on
to talk to people
Snapchat
on
just
Snapchat. Like,
with people, and I don't do that anymore. For the most part, like every now and then I'll be talking to someone. But what you find is when you do stay up late, it's because you're having a meaningful conversation with someone, and I think that's fine.
Mm. Mm.
As long as you're talking about something that it matters, kind of that's important. Um, but when you feel, I always feel you always feel really drained when you've spent hours of your life having a completely pointless conversation about fucking nothing with people for hours. But if you have a
Mm.
productive conversation, you feel good about it afterwards. And Snapchat and things like that just breed pointless conversations.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Frank's spitting straight facts here. Like,
Thanks, man.
yeah, definitely. I feel like, I mean, it has its benefits. Like, definitely, I would say it does. I mean, like, personally, I don't
There's
think
something
I
like,
would do that. I mean, I don't really use social media much, like Instagram. Like, I suppose I use the Game Tech one for like, I suppose publicizing the channel. That's about it. Like Twitter, publicizing the channel. Snapchat for talking to friends. Like, that's really it for
yeah,
me.
I only ever usually use Snapchat to just if someone's not on Discord, I'm like, get on Discord.
Yeah,
Discord's usually
Yeah,
it's like
and
the main thing I use these days.
the funny
Discord's
thing with the
really good.
Snapchat one, yeah,
Discord
Discord's
social
brilliant.
media boys.
I
Oh, we didn't even talk
I'd like
about
to give
Discord
a
yet.
shout out to the please meme feature, Giovanni.
Oh my god,
It's my favorite
I
thing ever.
bet I've like reversed your like whole getting on track thing, whatever. It's like
Yeah,
your time's being wasted again. Yeah. Literally, like,
well,
look at any time of the day, there's like
but
100 please
yeah,
memes.
but that
Oh my
was
god.
like I kind of felt bad then because Matthew McBride said that he'd muted or he'd left the Discord because I kept sending it, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't mean to.
Yeah,
I
I
was
have
just
had
trying to annoy
people
you,
I was talking
Giovanni.
to on Snap. Oh no, I have like the meme section like muted and everything else on. But like,
Yeah,
yeah, people have said
absolutely.
to me on Snapchat, like, why did you add me into that? Like, it's so annoying, the notifications. Because it is constant, like.
Mm.
It's so funny, though. Yeah, but Discord is great, like, when you think about it, it doesn't have any, like, of those clickbait things you could say. Like, it's whatever your server is completely
Yeah,
defined by the host and the people in it.
yeah, and you can make it whatever you want to be. Like you can have anything that you make it yourself. It's very like personalized,
Yeah, definitely.
customizable, and
Your
you don't
own
get the
personal
feeling that
social
you're,
media.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, you don't feel like you're being directed by the company that makes it. It's kind of like they give you a blank screen and say, right, that's yours, do what you want with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and the music bots are pretty cool too, and being able to stream your screen super easily to your friends, like, and it's private. It's like Joe. I
Yeah,
think
and
all
also,
online school should be moved to Discord rather than Zoom. Imagine how
yeah,
convenient that would be.
yeah,
It's
but
like you could
no one
have
would
you
do
could
it,
have a
which is
server
funny,
for
isn't
each
it?
class, like, or I suppose each teacher has their own one. Makes more
Yeah,
sense.
I actually before before all of this happened last year, I actually got Discord and I made a server for myself. That's why I have the Discord account with the funny name. Uh, I made a server, all of my subjects, and then I would, if you'd watch a video that was interesting on a school subject or whatever, I put it in my server. So I
Yeah.
have a full server full of videos and
Oh my
things
god, add me to it,
of
Frank.
uh
You should, if
oh
you make
well,
them all private, you can
it's
add
not
people
that
to it.
great anymore. Yeah, I don't know if well, I'll have a look at it and see. But yeah, I always thought it was really handy, but I never thought that you could use it for like streaming things with your mates and that, or
Yeah,
just using it for talking. I just
I've
never thought that. But it's
It's
I've
like
so
it's very
flexible.
expansive the options you have. You could do so many things with Discord.
yeah, I had Discord for years, but like
Expansive,
I
that's
know
the
I
word
didn't
I was
have
looking
any
for.
like
Thanks,
friends
Matthew.
that had it, so like
You're welcome.
I suppose it's really only the past few months that like we've all been getting on it, like, and it's really good. I kind of wish we had this last quarantine as well, Because remember, like even our Minecraft server, we had to call on
something else.
Snapchat, and it's just super awkward. Like,
Hmm.
I think PlayStation should integrate Discord. I know Xbox have done that,
Yeah.
Big class.
especially with this like whole like crossplay movement.
Good on Xbox then.
Shamey was saying, yeah,
Microsoft promotion.
he's the same. Like, he wouldn't be
Yeah.
using social media near as much if he was doing photography, because it's the only place that works, like, to post his work. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Plus, like, I mean, like, let's say
He's
20 years ago, Shamey, and you were a photographer, like, you wouldn't have had this, like, public, like, to become a photographer, you'd actually have to make a business, and it'd be done through word and mouth, like. Like, it gives people this chance of, like, being able to do these, like, side things, like photography, art, video creation, without it having to be your job, like. Because, like, before, like, you'd have, like, you was to get a job in that line, but now you have much more diversity and, like, options.
boys, we need to invest in
7
Discord.
viewers.
Guys, we need to invest in
Quite exciting.
Discord. What the fuck?
Oh
Like,
god.
invest.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why don't we invest in Discord?
You can invest in Discord if you want.
How much are the shares? They're probably a
I don't
fortune.
know, like, but like this whole fucking GameStop thing happened. I mean, crazy.
I don't
like,
know.
but
Discord doesn't make much
we're
money.
just
Like,
like shamelessly promoting Discord right now.
You
There's
see, the
probably
only
like
way
loads of people doing this
Discord
as well
makes
right now.
money is through the premium accounts you can get on it. I forget what it's called. Like, even when you go on Discord, like, there's nothing that says like, oh, you can get the premium membership. Like, it's difficult to find. What's it even called? Like,
Like, dude, if we're saying Discord could like possibly group up with schools, like imagine this became a global school thing with Discord, bro. This would be money. What?
oh, it's
Why
called
don't we all invest in
Nitro, isn't it?
Discord?
One slave.
Yeah, Nitro. That's what the premium Discord's called. Like, they don't even
Oh, is that
advertise that
what
much.
premium? I never realized what that was.
Yeah, that's like
What is
the
it?
Yeah,
premium.
see, Discord.
It lets you
Big
make like
lads.
custom emojis, things like that. Like, that's just their only
that's pretty cool.
source of like money, really, when you think about it. It's like yeah,
All
Thor
this
is
can
pretty good
change
though.
instant. All change in an instant.
If Discord call was cost a $5 all of a sudden, I'd probably pay that $5 to be honest.
That's the thing. I think what's good about Discord is that it doesn't have that. And if they became commercial, it would lose what makes it so good.
It's
Yeah,
like the
definitely.
Oasis in
I-
Ready Player One.
Yes,
If
Mikey.
you take them
Culture.
all the websites there.
Where you get to do
Represent,
everyone.
Mikey, stop
Mm.
shamelessly promoting Steven Spielberg.
Well done, Frank.
Is it even him who does it? I think it is.
Everyone
You got laggy there, Mikey. I didn't hear what you
Yeah, I
said.
thought that was me, but no, it's Mickey.
Yeah. Mikey, you there?
Okay.
Ready Player One.
Wait, what the hell?
I'm
Just
moving
like,
Mickey out and back in.
what?
I think
His
Discord
internet
just
probably
revoked
went out
Mickey's
in the middle of it.
bandwidth.
Discord heard us talking about how good it was and it
Hello?
got angry.
Can you
Yeah.
see me now?
Yeah, I kicked you out and
Okay, good.
oh my
Right,
god,
anyways,
you sound
continue.
like you're in a cave, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm in
Hmm.
a cave. It's very dismal and black in here. You know what helped?
Hmm.
Social media.
But you're
Oh
on
my God,
social
Mikey,
media.
stop shamelessly promoting things. Jeez. Get out of here with that
Yeah.
shit.
Back on topic.
What else? What other points does anyone have on social media? Like,
I feel like we've talked
I
pretty
don't know.
extensively.
Fucking
There's
yeah.
probably a big glaring thing that we skipped over.
yeah, potentially.
Dating, social media.
Can we get someone
All
in the
right,
comments?
let's not
See if we
go
can keep
there,
up with these.
Mikey.
Fucking
Yeah, what
Mikey.
is this? Message has been deleted.
Did someone kick
Shh,
Matthew?
shh, shh.
What?
We don't talk about
Don't
it.
do that.
I didn't kick him. He
Why?
can still comment if he wants. Like, well, does anyone feel like their opinions have changed after this discussion?
No. I think we
Yeah,
could do an
man.
episode part 2. You know, honestly though, I feel like this is just like
Like, I'm very open to other
fine.
people's opinions. Like, I like hearing other people's opinions,
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll ask
whether
people
you're
what they
pro
think.
or against. Like,
Liam.
what about, does
Liam
anyone want to
control.
ask anyone any questions?
Well, what I think's funny about it is like I feel like what we were talking about was well generally overwhelmingly positive, like the outcome we
From
arrived at. But
Yeah,
what's
we
funny is
talked
like
about
and all everything we said was relevant, I think, and but I would still personally like I wouldn't get the social media back because of what it is to me. I don't like the idea of it. But for other people, I think as long as you're using it in a way that you're comfortable with, I think the pros kind of
Outweigh the cons.
outweigh the cons, maybe using the right types of social media
yeah,
and
and in
not getting caught
moderation,
up
of
in
course.
the bullshit. Yeah.
Discord.
Discord,
dude,
maybe Discord
I
will
know what we
sponsor us.
forgot. I know what we forgot to talk about. I know what it is. It's so big too.
Donald Trump.
No, we're gonna talk about
If there's anyone working for Discord, please sponsor us.
Mickey, stop.
Instagram girls.
Yeah, I don't know
You
how
know,
that's
Instagram
I don't
models
know
and
how
stuff.
that doesn't violate agreements. Like,
They, I don't know. I just feel like it just makes people narcissistic or something, man. It's crazy. I don't know what it is. Like it's so strange to like watch, man. Like these people are like, oh, I don't know. They're like they seem to live in a different world. I know
yeah,
when they look at me, it might look the same way, but it's just crazy, man. It's so alien to me.
Joe likes Insta girls, Liam, if you want to uh,
Oh,
take that subject further.
I'm
no, I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about, like, I don't know,
Talking
fucking,
about
like,
his influencers, I think, or stuff like
yeah, the
that.
big ones, like,
No,
just the ones to
I
be on.
know exactly what you mean, Liam. I know
Uh,
exactly what you mean. It's funny.
not like just girls who use Instagram in general. Like, I mean, just like fucking people who just like use their Instagram just for photos and like they make money off all that shit. It's fucking weird, man.
yeah. The
Like,
way they
even if
make
I
it's
money
just
mean,
like
is
their
through
live
like
streams and
I
shit.
don't,
their money is through
I don't know.
sponsors.
Yeah,
Mm.
I
Instagram
again,
itself doesn't
it's
pay them.
Here, look, episode 2.
So
In
too,
episode 2, we'll do an episode. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
definitely
yeah,
at some point in the future, maybe like a few
yeah. I
months.
definitely like to let's research a bit more. I came into this kind of blind. I didn't
Yeah.
think I would
Mm.
stay for the whole thing either because I didn't have much to say, but I enjoyed it. So
Well, shall we wrap things up
No,
then?
ending it.
I had more things to say than I thought I would. If you'll have me back another time, Giovanni.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Nah, you're never coming back,
Well,
Frank. We don't like you.
guys, I'm gonna wrap things up here.
Just because I stole your
Liam,
limelight,
have
Mikey.
your quote ready.
Here,
I'll
here,
let you
here.
know
Hang
when
on,
to
hang
do
on.
it. So, right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that live stream. It's went so good today. Liam, shut up. I hope you've enjoyed it. Meant a lot to see a lot of people show up. Kind of good. Again, we'll be on next week, and if anyone has any suggestions, please comment below when the video is uploaded, or tweet me, send me on Instagram, whatever you want, or join the Discord. In fact, we've spoke very positively about that. And once again, there is the link in the description if anyone wants to check it out. You'd be supporting us, it would mean a lot. And guys, I suppose I'll see you all next time, and I'll just get these guys to say bye as well. And Liam has a quote he wants to share. Right, guys, say goodbye. Right, right, Liam. Do you have your quote? Because this is your cue. Right.